Hello and welcome to another video with me, Christian Rauchenwald. Now in today's video we are going to look at Bee Network again and into the latest update where they added the KYC verification. Now if you're wondering what KYC stands for, it stands for Know Your Customer, and it serves the purpose to identify that you are actually one unique human being. Now I get that there will be a lot of people that complain about that it's just some kind of data grabbing scam or whatever, but projects like Bee Network simply need a KYC process to ensure that people don't game the system. So otherwise you could create one account and then use an application like BlueStacks to set up multiple fake phones that then use your first account's referral code to sign up, and this would artificially boost your earnings rate. So the KYC process is kind of like a necessary evil to get rid of fake accounts and to eventually burn all the fake coins, so that in the end the final coin supply actually only consists of the coins generated or earned by unique human beings, and that the coins created by fake or duplicate accounts actually get burned and disappear. So it's something that's really relevant for the project. Now one thing to take away, I did not complete the KYC process yet myself, that's why I'm recording this video. So we're going to start by putting my phone up here, and then within the Bee Network app, if you downloaded the latest update and you go to the three dots in the bottom menu, you will notice when you scroll down the KYC passport menu item, in which I'm going to press now. Now once you press that, you should eventually see a pop-up like this: KYC verification, you agree to our privacy policy. And I'm going to quickly take a look at that privacy policy. I might fast forward through the reading of the policy and then just provide you with my takeaway from that privacy policy. So I'm done reading, and the one thing we can take away from this is that Bee Network does not complete the KYC process by themselves, but the first line already tells us that the Know Your Customer Limited is the company behind the KYC process that actually facilitates the process. Which means, just like Pi Network, who uses a third-party provider called Yoti, Bee Network relies on a third-party provider called Know Your Customer Limited for the KYC verification. Now, Know Your Customer Limited is a company that's also registered in Hong Kong, but it's not affiliated in any way with Bee Network as far as I can tell, because while Bee Network only launched last year in 2020 and is incorporated as Bee Network Limited in Hong Kong, which I explained in a video that I'm going to put in the card up here, the Know Your Customer Limited actually exists since 2015 and specializes on, as the name suggests, KYC verifications. Other than that, the privacy policy also points out how your data will be used, that it will be used for the KYC process, that it's stored only encrypted and secured, so that your data is not stored in some clear text in any way, which means that even if the Know Your Customer database would get hacked at any point in the future, your data would actually be useless without also knowing the N or decryption key to turn that gibberish of encrypted data into readable data. And all of that so far is quite positive. The only negative, but only in air quotes, part of that privacy policy would be the part that states personal data provided by subscribers will be used by KYC, so by the Know Your Customer Limited, to provide marketing information and news updates to subscribers about our business and industry news. So by completing the KYC process, it could be that you start to receive newsletters from the Know Your Customers company. However, it also mentions further down below that you can unsubscribe from that newsletter at any time, therefore shouldn't be a big issue. Besides that, there is also a contact for GDPR compliance. So if you're a resident within Europe, GDPR applies to you, and as you might know, you have the right to ask them what kind of data they stored from you, and also ask them to delete the data that they stored and so on, which might lead to also the deletion of your account, so you might not want to do that unless you want to give up on Bee Network. But overall, the privacy policy looks sound, contains all the important aspects, and what I really like is that Bee Network doesn't handle the data themselves, but that they use an established company that is already on the market for more than 5 years and specializes on KYC verifications. Now with that, I'm going to press done here to get back to the app, and I'm going to again press KYC passport and click on agree to continue with the verification. Obviously, Bee Network needs to access my camera in order to read any kind of information like my passport ID to actually verify it. And so I'm going to grant that permission, and there we go. And it says place your ID with the frame and take a picture. Now here I want to point out, when we look at the KYC verification of other apps, like for example TimeStope tells you that you can cover, for example, your passport ID. However, what most people don't know or ignore, and TimeStope probably doesn't specifically point out, is that even if you cover your passport ID, it's still visible. To show you what I mean, I'm not going to show you my actual passport, but I'm going to put a sample passport up here, so a picture that I found online from an example of a European passport. And as you can see, we have the passport ID in the top right corner, so the unique number that identifies your passport. However, even if you cover that ID in the top right corner, that still leaves the machine-readable code at the bottom of the passport, which contains the ID and all the other information as well. And while I get that some people might be a little bit scared or afraid to actually take a picture of the real passport, it's simply the way it works with most verification processes. If you sign up at Coinbase or at NiceHash or at Crypto.com or open a bank account, you'll always will have to provide your identity. Now I get that those are financial institutions that are required by law to complete that process, but I also already explained why projects like Bee Network have to include a KYC verification to make sure that the system is fair and that users with some advanced technical knowledge and access to multiple phones or emulators don't get an unfair advantage. So with that, I'm going to proceed, although I'm obviously going to cover or blur my passport data from the screen. As you can see, there is a separate area that kind of like highlights the machine-readable code of the passport, and I'm trying to get everything in there without having parts of it being not visible. And I'm quite sure that the app actually will only bother to read the machine-readable code and not try to decipher the rest. So if we click then on Submit here, we see what happens next. I guess that the image recognition is trying to decipher the machine-readable code and trying to verify the data. Okay, so we move on, and the next part is actually to scan your face, which means you get to see me without wearing one of my caps, apparently. So I'm going to remove my cap. My hair looks like a mess, but what can you do about that? And we're going to continue. So it's position your face within the frame, make sure it's clear and bright enough, wait a moment for automatic scanning. So let's try this. That's it. So the verification is done. You can see that when I press the KYC passport button again, that it actually shows my real name, although the last name blurred out, my ID card, so my passport ID, and when I finish the KYC verification, just like TimeStope, where you have to blink with your left eye, then with your right eye, and eventually open and close your mouth, they also included a motion tracking or motion detection. And you might be wondering why TimeStope and Bee Network both require you to have some kind of motion or very specific motion during the verification process. And the answer to that is actually quite simple, because otherwise you could simply hold up the picture of somebody else. So if you found the picture of a passport online, you could then basically print out that fake passport and take a picture of the passport, and then you could just print out the picture of the passport and hold that in front of the camera to scan the face. So that's why those verification apps require you to complete some kind of motion, like opening and closing your mouth or blinking your eye, to make sure that you're not just holding the picture of somebody else in front of the camera, but it's actually you in front of the camera. Anyway, that's it for today. As always, if you have any questions whatsoever, don't forget you can always leave them in the comments down below, or even better, if you check the description or the first comment down below, you can jump on our Discord server and discuss Bee Network and all the other projects that I've reviewed so far on this channel on the Discord server with me and the rest of the community. Thanks for watching. See you in one of my other videos. Till then, bye bye.